I do believe we are live streaming to YouTube now.
Right.
And we have just hit 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Hello, good evening and welcome to Weymouth Town Council Licence and Planning Meeting. I just wish any members of the public that should be watching online, good evening. And we have none in the chamber today. So we'll go straight to item 1, which is apologies for absence. We have one apology from Councillor Furman, who is being substituted by Councillor Day. And I'd just like to, I'll propose the voting on that, and a seconder from Councillor Taylor. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you. We can now go into item 2, which is declarations of interest. We have Councillor Taylor has declared a non-pecuniary interest in item 8, Bincleaves Road, Weymouth, as he is a resident of Bincleaves. Do we have any other declarations of interest? And of course, the usual reminder, should you see something, by all means shout out. We now can move into item 3, which is the minutes of the last meeting. As I'm sure we've all read through them. I'll propose them, seconded by Councillor Clifford. All those in favour that the minutes are a true and accurate record? That's unanimous again. Item 4 is public participation. We don't have any, do we? No. We don't have any. So we can now go into item 5, which is planning applications for discussion. And Councillor Dickens wishes to discuss 1A Moordown Avenue, Weymouth. Over to you, Steve.
Yeah, so this is an application for a balcony, which is overlooking properties, exactly like the previous balcony that was overlooking properties. With direct lines of sight into people's bedrooms, and etc. I notice we haven't got any local complaints, but I personally feel that it's a bit intrusive and would be voting against it.
So on the material side, you'd like to object for the overlooking and lots of privacy?
Yes, lots of privacy.
Yeah. Would anybody else like to comment on it? Councillor Clifford?
Yeah, thanks. So I remember the last one because I didn't particularly agree with it, and I do feel that we perhaps need to at some stage have a policy on this, because some of these decisions we support and some of them we refuse, and I think it would be helpful to have a policy behind us to give us a little bit more strength to our argument.
Yeah.
I didn't notice there were particular objections to this one from the neighbours.
No, I agree. I haven't noticed that either.
In which case, I'm going to find it difficult to support you as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
Because I've got no neighbours saying it impinges on my privacy. But I do think, Chair, it'd be helpful at some stage, even if it's perhaps one of the officers can give us a little bit of help about what planning policy we can refer to when we come across this.
And I must just add that I'm only speaking against this because I spoke against the other one and would feel somewhat two-faced if I said yes to this one when I was so no to the other one.
Completely understand.
Yeah, and just for the record, it was refused by Dorset Council. The one in 7 acres.
Yeah.
So the problem we've got of having a policy is because we're only an advisory body.
Yeah.
To actually have a policy would be and you have to take each planning application on merit. And you have to have an open mind. So if there was a policy,
Maybe some advice that we could refer to.
I mean, we can always ring the case officer who can steer you. And I've rung the case officers quite a few times and they've always been really helpful. But, well, we have would anybody else like to speak on it? Well, we have a proposal from Councillor Dickens that we object on the grounds of being overlooked and loss of privacy. Would anybody like to second it? Seconded by Councillor Orrell.
I'll second it on the grounds of consistency.
Would you like to speak on it?
Only on just for the same reason of being consistent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So should we go to the vote? All those in favour?
I'll support it just on the grounds of consistency.
Yeah, all those in favour? So that's 6, 7. Abstentions? One abstention.
Only because there isn't a neighbour.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I find it difficult when there's no backup from the people around it.
So we can now go on to the items in item 5, which are planning applications which were received prior to agenda dispatch. And they are 306 Dorchester Road, Justice Avenue and St Thomas Street, and there's two. Would anybody like to speak on those? Yes,
Yeah, it's not really declaration, but I try and get around to have a look at the ones in the ward. So I went around, had a look at Jesters, and I just say I spoke to the neighbours there, so there wasn't no objection. I couldn't see any objection. So just,
yeah, nice. St Thomas Street?
No, it's just seems like minor changes to me, so no objections to that. No.
So if we could vote that all those four, isn't it? Applications get put into item 6.
Yeah, if I could have a proposal in a second.
Yeah,
That, please.
proposed by councillor Dickens, seconded by councillor Young. All those in favour? That's unanimous. We can now move on to item 6. Is there any items in item 6 that members would like to talk about?
Can I drag Brenda Dench House back to discuss?
Yes,
Yes,
let me just call it up. Particular document you'd like to look at?
If you can find an external view from the south or from the west, but it doesn't matter if you can't.
Existing from the south or the west?
Or no, proposed from the
Proposed from the
south.
south or west. That's all proposed from the south.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
That
from the
one's
south,
fine.
and there was one at the west.
No, that one's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Just gives us an idea of the scale.
Okay.
So it's a block of flats in my ward, which was built 20, 30 years ago. And it's quite run down now. Now, the internal design of the current flats is poor. There's lots of very narrow corridors which go like a labyrinth, and quite small flats of it, which aren't of great quality. So looking at this, this is one of the ones I want to flag up
Yeah.
to give it a push rather than to object to it.
Yeah,
The new design is much better design, much better light into the building, as you can see from the windows. There's two things one could say against it, but I'm not going to. I'll just comment on them. One is it's higher than before, which means they're getting more bedrooms. So that's kind of counter argument. You get more bedrooms on the site. The other ones, they're proposing closing the gate at times, probably at night, that little shopping arcade, which again I'll note, but I wouldn't see it as grounds for objection because there's still plenty of ways to get between the two streets
yeah.
and by St Mary's. So
The only thing you might want to say is, would the fire brigade be able to open it? You know, in the case of an emergency,
yeah, that's a good. You'll have to put that in. I'm going to say.
emergency access through the gate, should it be needed.
Okay, so we can have a conditional acceptance.
Yeah.
So what I said, like I said, to support the scheme, it's a better design of house, much better light. It's increasing the number of residential units in the town centre, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But the condition is fire access through the gate.
I'm going to have to repeat that. I'm slower with pen and paper than I am on my laptop, so fire access through gates. So we will support the scheme. Better light.
Increasing the number of people able to live in the town centre. then councillor Dickinson's,
Yeah, condition that fire access is required through the gates.
Yeah. Emergency access,
Yeah.
so, because that can be fire and ambulance
Yeah.
and police.
not, this is not for the motion, but it's another of these ones that
Yeah.
we've approved it about 3 times already.
Yeah.
Like, I'd really like to push it and say, like some of the other ones, yes, but this time, can you actually do it?
Yeah.
We'd like to see these developed, it says.
So do we need to vote on this,
Yeah,
Nikki, or is it just, you're gonna put that as a,
yeah, if we could
Oh, well,
just vote on everything.
yeah, okay. Well, councillor Earls proposed it, councillor Dickens has seconded, is everybody happy that Weymouth Town Council support the scheme? The only comment we have is what
Yeah.
we've said, yeah?
Yep.
So that's what we're voting on, yeah. All those in favour? There you go.
Thank you.
Any others within item 6? Right,
So if we just vote that,
Yeah.
for all those for the,
so
Yeah.
I'll propose that all those items in item 6, we send our standard reply, seconded by councillor Taylor. All those in favour? There you go, Nicky, what were your
Thank you.
names?
right, there you go.
We now move on to tree preservation. Land on the west of Watery Lane. Members are asked to consider the tree preservation ordered in Appendix A and agree any presentation to be made to Dorset Council.
It's got a map.
Is that in your, yeah?
Let's just see what they want to do. And just, it's a provisional tree preservation. order, isn't it?
Yeah. So is it just, this is just a note item?
If we've got no comments to send up to Dorset Council, then that's
No,
fine.
no.
No comments?
Right. We can now move on then to item 8. Which is the planning applications responded to under delegated powers. Does anybody like to talk about any of the items in item 8? Or can we just send up our usual Weymouth Town Council supports this application, however, the result that at least 2 climate change tolerant trees are planted.
Yeah, they've already been sent. These are info items.
Some,
only.
yeah, info items.
Yeah, this is one of the ones under delegation to officers.
Anybody? No, we can now move on to item 9, which is an appeal. Barradine Road, Weymouth, that's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah.
the only appeal we've got this evening, I think, yeah.
Against refusal of Dorset Council to refuse this one?
Yeah, do we want to see why they refused it?
Yeah, yes, please. At the time, I think we had, no comment, wasn't it?
If that's what.
Yeah, I think so.
They would, proposed development by virtue of its inharmonious relationship with the protected trees at the front of the plot would impact the living conditions of future occupiers by restricting light to and outlook from internal spaces.
Treat policy.
Yeah.
No good point.
Application sites located in an area with no risk of surface water.
So, would anybody like to change our original? No?
Well, there was no comment last time.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it, I can't really see what the plan is. I mean, it's, yeah, squeezing a house in.
Yeah.
if people want to live and you've got a branch right outside your window, that's the choice you make. I didn't really see it was ground for an appeal, but. Yeah,
Well, they've refused it on flooding.
yeah, one house, yeah. There's an element of, let's get real about it, but.
Yeah. So stick to our original.
Okay, so we could pose a second.
Yeah, well, I propose we stick to our original. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Rell? All those in favour? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
We can now move on to item 10, which there is none, and then we come to item 11. Application for a definitive map modification. Is it you, Tim?
Well, I don't know anything about this one.
Oh, sorry. Is this where they want to add a path up the, as if you're going up towards Chickle, that they want to add a footpath on the right-hand side?
I'm not sure, I think, we just see where this one is. I
This
think
is, this is
there's
what we've
one
got.
in Rabbit Hole that David's been.
It's
Yeah,
not
David Norton and David Phillips.
Yeah.
trying to work out where everything is on this map is not easy.
Oh, I know it.
Do you know where it is?
It's tucked away, so it's quite hard to envisage from that map. You might have to go to a larger scale to appreciate where it is. If you get Google Maps and get the area a bit bigger, it's, unless you walk the area, you wouldn't know where
So
it is.
whereabouts is it now?
It's to the northwest of where Tumbledown is. Tumbledown is right at the bottom right of this picture. By Letterbox Cottage, isn't it?
Yeah, that funny shaped building. Does it
Do
go up towards
apologise.
that?
Working without a mouse.
No,
Nothing
that's
to
further-
know.
That's further north.
Slow down, slow down.
Yeah, probably, yeah, this is-
Can't be exact.
Right, let's do more down. Do we zoom in a bit more?
Or get can you do those satellite images?
Yeah, on Google Maps.
That's better. Yeah, it's on lockdown a bit.
Oh, I'll work on it.
Okay, so here's Tumbledown.
Yeah,
Main road would go that way, so Letterbox Cottage is there. This is the little wiggly lane that goes
yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Right, so there's an official footpath, you can just about see there,
Yeah,
but for many years, there was. People used to walk across here as well, so they made it quite a nice circuit. That one involves going right at the top of the hill and all the way down. Whereas this one follows the contours of the land and ends up there.
Oh, yes.
And that connects up with other footpaths. So there's a certain logic to it. It was. I do actually know this one because I live back here, and used to walk here quite regularly, and for many decades it was open and there was quite an established
Yeah,
route. You could see it worn in the grass. Loads of people used to walk it all the time. Then I don't know how many years ago, a new landowner came in and up came the fences. So which is why they've put in this appeal. Is if you can prove that you had 20 years of unimpeded access, then it's which wasn't obstructed, then you can make it into a new footpath. So which I would agree that it should be, because I think it was very well used.
do you want to go back to the map?
So there it is. That's the one they want us to adopt. And you can see it connects up the other footpath.
are you talking about A to E then, aren't you, John?
A to E, yeah.
Yeah.
So those existing ones that are like train tracks are existing footpaths. And as you can see, there's kind of network. Two come in there. So it kind of connects up there's a logic to how they all connect up.
Yeah.
It was a very handy path. You didn't have to walk up a hill.
So the recommendation is that members are asked to consider the application and agree whether there is any evidence regarding any footpath usage to be submitted to Dorset Council.
Okay, well, I'd like to put in evidence that I walked that path with my family for over 20 years, 25 years before fence went up.
So we would like to support the application
Yes.
because we have evidence from councillor Orell, who lives near there and walked that path regularly until the fences went up.
Can I ask, is that fenced off then? That path that-
No,
Yeah.
it's quite a narrow, it's one of the
Yeah.
standard landowner things, you suddenly end up with a path that was
Yeah.
quite wide, it's suddenly that wide, and the
Okay.
brambles come up, and it, the mud, you end up walking down a muddy little track.
Yeah,
which
I
is
think I
really
know where you
unpleasant.
are there, yeah.
Whereas before it was quite.
I mentioned that we had a problem with Shortlands Fields in Upway where we did manage to improve usage for at least 25 years. So the farmer or the owner, because it was bought by development, has put up a fence either side, so you've got this much, where there used to be wide open fields. Yeah.
Well, this is worse than that, yeah.
Is it a 6-foot fence as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you can't see.
Yeah.
Well, it's wire mesh, but it's absolutely not what it was.
So we have a proposal from councillor Orell. Do we have a seconder from councillor Clifford? So just to make sure we all understand what we're voting on, yeah?
Yeah, so, yeah, we'd like to support this application as we have evidence from councillor Orell, who walked the path with his family for 25 years before the fence was erected.
All happy with that?
Yeah.
All those in favour? That's unanimous again, Nikki. We can now move on to item 12, which there are none, so we go straight to item 13, which is notice of a proposal of a traffic management scheme, various roads in Weymouth.
Yes. Okay, so that's the proposal. I think I'll skip straight to the maps. Okay, so this is the Portland Road
Yeah.
through Wyke. This orange line is going to be no waiting time at all times.
You're the,
Yeah, it's just, it seems to be, I've no issue with this whatsoever, it just seems like an extension of the double yellow lines that are on there. And actually having some proper pedestrian crossings there is
Yeah,
gonna be
okay.
beneficial at the end of the day, so.
There we go.
so- and you're in full support.
I'm in full support of this, yeah.
It seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a long time coming, hasn't it?
I believe so,
Yeah. Remember, there was talk about this a while ago. So we're in support of this,
Yes,
and we're just in support, really. I don't know what else I can say, really. So it's proposed by councillor Taylor, seconded by councillor Dickens. Anybody else like to say anything on the plan? No, so we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Oh, listen,
And that's all unanimous. We have several information items in item 14. Anybody like to talk about those? At all? Anybody? Right, do we have neighbourhood plan, John?
No, no, the only update is we're all aware of was it came to full council last week and it was passed again and we got notification on today that
Yeah.
the period of consultation has been
Yeah,
extended.
that's the only news really, that the consultation period's been extended to April the
Yeah, another one.
20th, is it, or something?
It's another 4 weeks.
Yeah, another 4 weeks, yeah.
How are we communicating that extension to some of the potential consultees? So for instance, we had the Green Hill Gardens team here.
They already know.
I'm sure they already know.
Yeah, they already
Were
know.
there one or two others that we could put out in our.
Spoke to somebody on Friday about it. I said, don't worry, it's in there, and I think if Did we put it into the plan?
No,
We
No.
didn't put it into the plan.
no, because we didn't want, if we changed anything at that stage, we had to go back. So the changes now would come from Dorset Council and the inspector.
Yeah.
If they reckon that it goes in, then it proceeds.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't even change it at the moment.
Right. Right. So has anybody got, well, we have no emergency items?
No.
Right, thank you very much indeed.